Story begins with a boy, Ning Yuan, sleeping in a dark room. Suddenly he hears the girl's voice calling his name and asking him to wake up. He wakes up and finds there is a wall behind him that has a hole through which a girl, Su Jin, is trying to talk to him. The two rooms are adjacent, and the walls are continuously moving. Suddenly, the wall starts moving towards him, making him worried. He looks for the exit but gets upset when Su Jin tells him the door is locked from outside. The Ning Yuan then attempts to break the window but fails, falling to the ground. Su Jin cries, thinking about their deaths, as they have no other way to escape. The Ning Yuan first believes she is pranking him, but then realizes she is a victim too and apologizes. She tells him while weeping that her cell phone got lost and she is unable to call anyone for rescue. She has lost all hope, but he then tries to calm her down by telling them they will find the way out. He finds an axe in Su Jin's room and decides to break the window, but Su Jin tells him there is no window in her room. He asks her to give him the axe if he will save her after escaping. She asks him for a promise to return when he gets free. Then Yuan makes a promise to his dignity that he will never leave her behind and will never run alone. He will return to save her, and if he fails to do that, he will die a horrible death. After hearing his promise, she runs to give him an axe. They learn that the hole was too small for the axe to pass through. Su Jin tries to make the hole bigger, but unfortunately, she cuts her hand in the process, and it starts bleeding. They find out that the wall is made of granite, which surprises the two. The two lose hope again. She starts weeping, and Ning Yuan wants her to stop crying so he can focus on thinking. He asks for her side of the story of ending up in the room. She does not remember anything. She was sleeping on the subway, and when she woke up, she found herself on the iron bed in a locked room. Suddenly something clicks in Ning Yuan's mind, and he asks her to break the iron bed and gives her the iron bar. He explains his plan. He will escape through a window with an iron bar, and then he will break the roof, which is made of wood, to save her. She does the same as told and gives him an iron bar. He breaks the wooden window and leaves. Meanwhile, a group of 4 people were walking on the snow. Jian, who is an athlete, hurts his ankle while Su Jin runs to ask him. Jian has found a wildflower in the cold weather. Jin has majored in medicine. Su Jin takes him inside the snow cave to bandage his ankle. Meanwhile, Dong and Fangbong go to search the area. He tells her she is more skilled than their medical crew. She tells him her father was a Myo doctor. Myo doctors are a group of minorities in southwest China who practice traditional medicine. She learned this when she was 10. Meanwhile, Dong and Fangbong have returned. They take Su Jin out of the cave and tell him about the situation with snow. The GPS has also stopped working because the station has been crushed by the snow. Dong and Fangbong decided to leave from the other side. As they left with little food and water, Su Jin becomes worried and asks for Jin, who is hurt and cannot move. They wanted to leave first and then find a way to rescue him, but Su Jin wasn't ready to leave him. They believe Su Jin loves him, and that is why she is not leaving him. Suddenly, Jian comes out of the cave and hears their discussion. He gets angry at them for leaving him here because he is injured. He recalls to Fanglong that they have been in the same class for the past 10 years and how she can plan all this. The two show their stubbornness with their plan and leave before providing them with half of their food. Later, when the two leave, Jian and Jin burn the food, and Jin checks his ankle. Who is better now? Jian is hurt by his friends who left them alone, but Jin is satisfied as they will send a rescue team for them. She has forgiven them. She tells him that she has learned from her father that everything is forgiven in the state of survival. He finds her cute and tries to kiss her, but she runs away, telling him she will get some herbs before it goes dark. He then suddenly asks her for a relationship when they safely get out of this situation, but she rejects his offer. She goes out and takes herbs, but on her return, she finds Jian has left her alone. She cries after seeing the note written on the wall. Now Su Jin is crying in the room, considering everyone is fake and cursing them. Then even smashes the roof and gives her hand. Finally, both are safe now. She apologizes for not trusting him. She was introducing herself when he told him to look around. There is water everywhere, and they are trapped on the island. They are standing on the lighthouse and finding a ladder to move down. They face difficulties while moving down, as the ladder was missing some steps, and suddenly two fell into the water. Ning Yuan loses consciousness, and in a dream, he talks to himself about how the powerful Ning Yuan is dying. His body was tied to a rope. Suddenly, Su Jin grabs him, but he is still unconscious. She carries him on her shoulder and takes him to the room in the lighthouse. There was a camera inside the house. She turns on the lights and sees a dead body tied up on the chair. She then hears footsteps from behind and meets a boy named Jiao, who has a knife in his hand. He believes she has taken him here and doesn't remember anything. So he threatens her to reveal the truth, but she makes it clear that she is also trapped. Jiang wakes up Ning Yuan to confirm Jin's revelation. But he says he is not Su Jin. Jiang was about to stab Ning Yuan when he began crying, making Su Jin worried. She recalls how Ning Yuan was a different person before losing consciousness, but now he is acting differently. Jiang asks Su Jin about his earlier statement, which does not match Ning Yuan's statement. She believes that while falling from the ladder, Yuan's head must have hit something, and he lost some memories. Jiang does not understand Jin's medical terms and gives him a last chance to explain why Yuan saved her as they met on the same island. She explains the time they spent together and planned their capture. They developed a sense of responsibility towards each other as humans. He believes her and leads them. She treats him, and he recovers but does not remember Su Jin from before. Su Jin then looks at the body and believes that someone has placed it there. They place the body on the ground, but Su Jin finds it difficult to learn the cause of death. Jiang then removes the dead body's shirt, and they see numbers carved on his body. They sit down to brainstorm about the numbers. While thinking, Su Jin asks Jiang for his story. Jiang works for Chinon of the Eastern Gen. He got kidnapped by someone, and when he was trying to escape through a boat, he found himself on this island. Ning Yuan believes this is some type of puzzling game, and they have to find the way out. He does not believe that someone has trapped them here, as Jiang is saying. Su Jin also believes it might be an escape game and then explains to Jiang about the game they played in real life with real people. They suggest finding clues for more information, as clues will help them get off the island. They get disappointed after realizing the stairs and ladder in the lighthouse are broken, and there is no other place to find anything. The three were talking when Su Jin suddenly found a small paper note in the year of the dead body's year. She takes it out and opens it. There was a map on it. They begin to figure out the symbols on the map. Ning Yuan believes he has seen this place before but cannot remember. Jiang gets angry, but Su Jin calms him down as Ning Yuan's head starts hurting when he tries to remember. Su Jin takes Ning Yuan inside and asks about the map. He says he remembers seeing this map when someone was drawing it, but he has no other information. She tells him not to push himself hard to remember, as it will hurt his head. Jiang gets out of the house and lights a cigarette. He thinks about the other two and tries to figure out whether they are minions of one of his enemies. The next morning, Jiang wakes them up and tells them they are leaving. He decides to follow the map and makes it clear to them that he doesn't trust them and will treat them as his slaves. If they disobey him, he will kill them without hesitation. They follow him as they have no other way. While going through the woods, they find a trap and realize they are not alone there. They also find the blood but are not sure whether it's human or animal. Jiang orders them to collect water and food for themselves to survive. Ning Yuan collects wild strawberries, while Su Jin plucks mushrooms. The two were talking when they saw a rabbit. Suddenly, Jiang kills it, surprising the other two. Jiang tells them he has found a cave nearby, so they should move there. Ning Yuan collects the wood for the fire, and the three arrive at the cave. They light the fire and make the meat. Jiang eats the meat, while the other two eat what they have collected. After eating, he orders Su Jin to make his bed inside the cave while ordering Ning Yuan to eat the meat. He leaves Ning Yuan outside for a watch and tells him to yell when he finds something strange. Meanwhile, he goes to help Su Jin make a bed. He tells him not to enter the cave, whatever happens. He was planning something in his mind about Su Jin. He enters the cave and smirks. He then tries to rape Su Jin. She cries for help, and Ning Yuan arrives inside, making Jiang angry. He beats him for disobeying his orders. Suddenly, Ning Yuan gathers all his courage and stands up. He tries to make Jiang realize that they are a team and need each other for their survival, as they have different abilities and depend on each other for them. He tells him that Su Jin is their healer, and her survival is necessary for their survival. He again beats him for the lecture and leaves the cave. After hearing the lecture, Jiang is now sure that his two slaves are not minions of his enemy. He is ashamed to hear a lecture by a dumb guy. He was talking to himself when he suddenly heard someone's voice calling for help. He runs towards the cave and hears the sound coming from the woods. The three rush to hide themselves behind the woods, as they considered it a trap. Suddenly, they see a man running and falling into the trap. Jiang tells them a trap is man-made, and he is the one who is chasing that man. Suddenly they saw a tall man with an axe arrive and kill the old man, who was running and crying for help. He takes his body away. Su Jin loses consciousness after seeing the murder, and the two get worried. Ning Yuan and Jian were in shock after seeing the murder, and Su Jin was unconscious. As soon as the murderer leaves, the two decide to head back to the cave to return to their consciousness. The three have returned to the cave. Su Jin is still unconscious. The other two are thinking about the murderer and trying to decode the situation. Ning Yuan questions Jian about the murderer, as he is more intelligent than them, but Jian also does not know. He tells him the depth of danger they are in. Jian wants him to take a rest while he guards the cave's entrance. The next morning, the three go out to collect food, as they have already finished all the food they have collected. Ning Yuan climbed the tree to get pineapples, while Su Jin was standing nearby to collect them. Suddenly, she screams with fear when she steps on the mouse, causing Jian to run towards them. He gets pissed off after learning about mice. Su Jin goes into the woods to use the bathroom, and suddenly she feels someone is watching her. The two cannibals appear and attack her. She screams in fear, giving a message to her team. Ning Yuan and Jian run to save her as soon as they realize she is in trouble. The two arrive and hide behind bushes to think about a plan, while the two cannibals are trying to kill her. Jian plans the attack and tells Ning Yuan. Ning Yuan runs towards her when suddenly someone fires a bullet, hitting one of the cannibals and killing him while the other runs away. The three look towards the place from where the gun is fired and see a girl with a gun standing there. She introduces herself as Tracy Candy, a member of a police organization, and wants them to leave as soon as possible because it is dangerous there. She informs them she has some other members hiding on the cliff, and they should go there. Jian realizes he has seen her before, but she says she has never been to any other country, and Jian has never been to the US. They were talking when they got attacked by other cannibals with arrows. They run to avoid arrows. She gives them cover and orders them to leave. They leave her and run away while she uses her gun to kill all of the cannibals. The three arrive near the lake. Ning Yuan drinks water while Jiang informs them that they should not trust anybody and keep the map and code a secret. He is ready to protect them at any cost if they will follow his rules. It allows them to become a team to protect themselves from other people trapped on the island in cannibal, which is accepted by the other two as they also need someone to guide them to escape the island without getting into any trouble. The three join hands and take oaths to stay together, work for each other's benefit, and share their resources. The three were making a promise when Tracy arrived and believed they were worshipping God. She informs them about the situation of the cannibals and wants them to join other members, as sticking together will increase their survival chances. The officer, Tracy, leads them to the cliff, where other survivors are staying. On arriving there, she introduces them. There were three other boys. One was Kawa Ishigaki from Japan, and the other was the president of the Ishigaki group. The boy in the red shirt is Yu Wengsang from Taiwan, and he is a basketball player. The other boy was Romeo, from the UK, and an actor. Tracy informs them about the situation she faced and how she met with Jian and his other two friends. Jian gets angry when Romeo says that Tracy should not use bullets on random guys, as they are left with very few bullets. Jian grabs him by the collar to teach him a lesson for calling him a waste, but Tracy stops him. She informs them about the rules for staying together, which are simple. They cannot hurt their teammate, and the one who breaks any law will be sentenced to death. Jian accepts their rules and agrees to join. Tracy tells them that while exploring the area, she found an architectural building that was covered in mist and was huge. She did not have complete information about it, as it was too far. Kawa wants to explore the building, but Romeo is worried as he believes it can be trapped by cannibals. Tracy agrees with Kawa and wants to investigate the place instead of sitting there and doing nothing. Kawa asks for the votes to decide what they should do, as it is the easiest way to find the solution. Su Jin and Ning Yuan vote to go out to explore, but Jian wants to stay there. He does that just to put Tracy in a difficult situation to resolve the problem, as half the members want to go out and half want to stay. Kawa offers everyone $10 million if they vote in his favor, as he is the president of a company and has so much money. He takes out the checkbook to write the amount. Romeo, who was complaining earlier, joins him after hearing about the money. Jian believes it's bribery, but Kawa says he is doing it openly, not in private. He explains it as a strategy. This money will give them a good future. He explains that people do not know whom to vote for. The one who provides them with a good future should get a vote. However, Jian does not follow him and asks Ning Yuan and Su Jin to vote according to his will. Romeo also decides to join the Jian side, while Tracy, Kawa, and Wengsang are on one side. Jian gets 3 votes while Kawa gets 2, and it becomes difficult for Tracy and Kawa to resolve the issue. Jian is too stubborn to follow, The group has somehow convinced Jiang to investigate the area instead of sitting and waiting for death. Jiang was just annoying. They go down from the cliff to search for the area. On the way, they were looking here and there for safety. Jiang had some thoughts running through his mind. He stops Trussie and asks for a private discussion, but she wants him to say it in front of everyone. He goes near her and says something in her ear. She is surprised after hearing it and takes Jiang far from others after excusing. The remaining members wondered about their discussion. They were seeing the two talking but couldn't hear anything. She slaps him in the end before returning to the group. He laughs after getting slapped. Kawa asks her about their discussion, but she says it was not anything big but bullshit. They again continue their search and arrive at the place where they see architecture, buildings, and gray surprises. Trussie asks Kawa Ishigaki for help in finding the style of architecture, as it may give them some information. He reveals that the building looks like Mayan pyramids but is a little different. Then Yuan questions if they are in Egypt and if there are pyramids. However, Kawa tells them the pyramids are not only in Egypt. However, there are some other countries like China where there are Zai imperial tombs. Trussie thinks there is a chance they are in South America. Kawa wants to further explore the place before reaching any conclusion about where they are currently. They arrive near the pyramid and realize it is greater than it looks from afar. Trussie warned them to be careful, as cannibals can arrive at any moment to attack them. As they were arriving near the pyramid, Su Jin got terrified. On asking, she tells Ning Yuan that at first she believed they were just kidnapped, but now they are dealing with human traffickers. She believes that after seeing the pyramids, she thinks they are not on their continent, Asia, but somewhere else. She is confused about whether it's reality or a game. Ning Yuan tells her he should not be worried they might be in a virtual reality game. She wonders how Ning Yuan is still optimistic after everything that has happened to them. He explains that they should think the other way. They are still alive, and they will find a way to get out. The two are enjoying each other's company. He shows his $30 million check to her, revealing he will not do a job after going back to his real life because he is a millionaire now. She laughs after hearing him, and he feels good that at least he made her happy. Meanwhile, Trussie finds a burning mark on the grass and checks the warmth. It shows that someone burned a fire there just a while ago. Ning Yuan finds the batteries, which gives the clue that there are other humans because cannibals cannot use them. They wonder whether they should go inside or not, as there may be other humans inside. Trussie and Cole want to go inside to explore further, but Jian gives the idea of splitting into two teams. One will go to explore, while the other team will guard the area and stay as a backup. Kawa decided to form a team according to his knowledge of architecture and history. He puts Trussie in charge of the exploration team. Su Jin will go with them for a medical emergency. Wang Sang will join them for physical work. Meanwhile, the other team, which includes Jian, Romeo, and Ning Yuan, will stay out on guard and as backup. The four leave after giving the other three advice. Su Jin was worried for Ning Yuan. As the other team leaves, Romeo asks Jian why he followed Kawa's order. He wants him to join him, and they should stand against the other team. But Jian refuses. He makes it clear that he doesn't want to work with him. He grabs Romeo by the neck and takes out his knife. Romeo reminds us that hurting a team member is breaking the law. Jian laughs at him and takes his 30 million from him. Inside the pyramid, they find a language written on the walls, but Kawa cannot recognize it as it is too ancient. They were walking when Su Jin recalled his discussion with Ning Yuan. She tells him that she poisoned Jian when he was trying to rape her. The poison is attached to his hair naturally. When he tried to get close to her, the poison entered his body throughout the year. The poison will make him die in 7 days. She then reveals that she has also given him a cure, so she is sure he will not die. He will get a stomach. She is worried for him as the time has come, so she wishes him health. Jian, Ning Yuan, and Romeo were standing outside when Jian suddenly felt pain in his stomach. Suddenly, they get attacked by a large group of cannibals. They begin to run, but Jian's stomach pain is not allowing him to run. Jian promises himself to become a good person in the next life, but suddenly he sees Ning running back towards him. Then Yuan carries him on his shoulder and makes a run. Romeo enters the building and turns off the switch, which closes the door, but Jiang and Ning Yuan make it on time and enter the pyramid. The other group meets them, and Kawa gets angry for locking the door. The door cannot be opened again, so Kawa suggests they find another exit. Suddenly, Su Jin finds Ning Yuan's swallowed arm, but he says it is not hurting. She makes a small cut with a knife and gets worried after learning that it is a serious medical condition. She reveals he has left with 10 hours to survive. She cries as she cannot heal him. Jian requests that he heal him as he got injured while saving him. Everyone is in shock after learning that. The group now decides to find an exit in 10 hours. They will first find a cure for Ning Yuan's disease, and later they will explore. Romeo wants to vote for it, but nobody listens to him and leaves. While moving inside the pyramid, they reach the basement and find a water body there. Ning Yuan realizes he has seen this place before but can't remember. Suddenly, they hear the voice of someone calling for help. They see the sound coming from the water and find 3 boys and 1 girl trapped in the water. One man was carrying another unconscious man in his arms. The unconscious man is a professor who can understand the language of cannibals. First, they were reluctant to help as they were not sure about them. But then they took them out of the water after learning they knew about the exit. The man who was talking to them was Andre, and he thanked them for saving. The group met the guy Andre. He was huge and muscular. Kawa asks him to introduce himself and his group to them. He tells them he is Russian and a mercenary. He is currently a member of the Israeli military organization. The other guy is Ding Hichun. He is a crosstalker from Jingsane Garden in Tianjin. Ning Yuan says he loves crosstalkers. The girl is Rika Cherry from New Zealand, and she is a housewife. Andrew introduces the unconscious professor, whose name is Gerard. He is an expert in ancient civilizations. He can read the characters on the wall. Suddenly, he wakes up and tells them that the exit is in front of them, covered with water. He explains to them that the characters on the wall say that when they reach the top of this room, the exit will show itself. Kawa finds the pillar, so they have to find the highest pillar to reach the top. The girls are worried because it is too long. Sujin thinks they have to swim first and then climb the pillar, as it is located in the water. Kawa explains to them how the water in the building works. There is nearly every water body in the building. The water level rises when they are open, so they have to wait to get close. Jiran tells them there are 4 pillars, and every pillar has a different height. Each pillar has its platform. They have to swim to the new platform during 1 level of water change and wait for the 2nd level of water change. They have figured out the whole pattern of that water body, but they do not know which pillar to pick, so they get trapped there. There is also a current during water change, which is difficult for normal humans to bear. They decide how they will swim and climb the pillar. Andre will climb first, then help others climb. They measure the gap and time limit they will take before arriving at the top of the pillar. Romeo is worried as he finds himself weak and wants to go first. Sujin suggests the injured one, like Ning Yuan, should go first. Jian gets angry at Romeo and runs to beat him, but Andre grabs him and takes away his knife. Everyone warns Jian to not hurt any other teammate. Everyone gets a number for jumping in the water. Rika gets the last number and cries because she finds herself weak and will not bear the water pressure for a long time. Kawa exchanges his number with her. Suddenly the intel opens and there is more water in the water. All members jump into the water. By swimming, they arrive near the pillar. Andre first arrived at the top of the pillar, and then Wing Sang and Jian joined him. They started pulling the other team members. One by one, everyone arrived at the top, except Ding and Kawa. Kawa gives the rope to Ding as they leave with little time. Ding is saved, but when it comes to Kawa's turn, the water level begins rising. Successfully, he takes the rope on time and arrives at the top of the pillar. Everyone was resting when the professor told them that architecture was made by Guilin to test strength and courage. Guilin is located in South America. It is a mysterious ancient civilization that is not mentioned in any historical records. The professor mentions his professor, who told him about this civilization, which existed 300 years ago. There are Maya documents where some clues are mentioned about the civilization. He tells them about the language and meaning of the characters written on the wall, which are a total of 20 characters. The people of that civilization were more intelligent than normal humans. There were tales about their eternal lives. He tells them that the Maya civilization never defeated them. The Guilin civilization disappeared along with the island they lived on. Suddenly, Ning Yuan gets a headache. He tells them that he heard this conversation before but does not remember anything else. On recalling further, his head hurts more. While discussing it, they suddenly found the closed gate near another pillar. The professor suggests going there, but Kawa and Andre want them to stick to the current plan and not change it. But the other wants to go to that pillar, as water is continuing to pour and the lowest pillar will get under the water. They are only left with 10 minutes, so they have to reach that pillar in 10 minutes. They started working on a new plan. Andre arrives at the next pillar first and then starts pulling the other members. Rika was the second to arrive there. She goes near and pulls the gate when it suddenly opens, takes her in, and gets close. Everyone reaches the pillar and worries for her. The professor reveals after reading the characters written on the gate that one must sacrifice himself in the process of opening the gate. Professor read the whole process written on the wall, by following which they can get out of the pyramid. They have to swim again to pass the gate. Everyone enters the water again. Ding was about to lose courage, but he recalled some memories of his past. He gathered the courage to continue his mission and save himself. The others help him, and he reaches the other pillar. They find another gate there, and by opening it, every person passes through it. Everyone has passed the gate now. They were walking when they saw another wall made of snakeskin, which must be hundreds of years old. They also find human skeletons there. A professor finds it a dangerous place. Suddenly, Ning Yuan starts singing a poem. Everyone gets a strange feeling. The professor asks him about the poem, but he also does not remember how he knew that. His condition is getting worse due to the poison. Su-jin tells them to hurry up to save him. It became difficult for Su-jin to carry him. Andre takes him on his shoulder, but Jiang comes in between and wants Andre to give Ning Yuan to him. However, Andre convinces him to allow him to carry him. Suddenly, they saw another altar. Everyone runs toward the gate. The professor warns them to be careful, as there can be traps. There were many characters carved at the gate. The professor begins examining the words. He tells them humans decorated the gate, and God cursed the gate. Trussie lays down on the altar, and suddenly the gate opens. But when she gets out of the altar, the gate closes. The professor reveals that someone has to sacrifice himself to get the others out of the pyramid. Kawa gives the idea that they should place something heavy, like a human, on the altar to open the door. They begin finding the rocks but fail to find any. They come to the point where they have to leave one person behind. Romeo wants unconscious Ning Yuan to be left behind, as he is already sick. Su-jin is not ready to leave him alone. Kawa also finds it a reasonable choice, as they have few options. Romeo wants them to vote to decide Ning's fate. The professor tells them that he is always ready to sacrifice himself, as he is always on the mission of reading and exploring. Jiang, Su-jin, and Andre are the only ones who vote for Ning's remaining votes to leave him alone. Everyone now wonders what to do when Jiang and Andre decide not to leave Ning alone. It has become difficult to reach any conclusion. Jiang brings up the idea that they will leave Romeo behind, and after getting out, some of them will return with rocks to take Romeo out of the building. Everybody agrees, and the group leaves while he lays down on the altar. Suddenly, the group was running towards the opening of the corridor. While running, the professor realizes that Jiang is not a bad guy and that he is full of energy and strength. They need people like him in the group for their survival. He also did not like Romeo, who is full of negative energy. So the group finds the opening, and finally, they are out of the pyramid. Su-jin has to now find a cure for Ning Yuan. Su-jin tells them there will be herbs near the snake venom that might help. They have to find a snake nest nearby. After finding the required herbs and giving them to Ning Yuan, Jiang and Andre lead with rocks to take Romeo out of the building. Meanwhile, others begin to collect food because they are too hungry. Tracy was on guard duty. Professor Kawa goes to make some kind of weapon with tree branches. Romeo cries as he is left alone. Suddenly he hears a strange sound, and when he returns, he cries like hell. Jiang and Andre hear Romeo's crying voice and get worried. The two decide to leave him, as it is getting dangerous. Meanwhile, Ning Yuan wakes up, but his head hurts. Kawa suggests that he take some more rest. Suddenly, the group gets attacked by the snake. Everyone begins to run. Trussie shoots it and gives everybody time to run. Ding tells them that Ginseng fell from a cliff when they got attacked by a snake while collecting food. Jiang fights the snake and attacks it with his knife. Suddenly, a snake throws him out of the cliff. Everyone gets worried, but Kawa tells them there is a lake under the cliff, so he will not die. Snake leaves after getting injured. Meanwhile, Jiang finds Ginseng in the lake and takes him out of the water. He is unconscious. He presses his chest to get the water out of his stomach. Ginseng wakes up and thanks him for saving his life. Suddenly, he saw a warm attachment to Jiang's arm. Jiang throws it away with the help of a lighter. Ginseng also has those worms all over his body. Jiang helps him get rid of those worms. The two were ready to find the other members, but suddenly they smelled air bubbles and fell off. The group sees the bubbles, but Su-jin tells them not to touch them. The group finds Jiang and Ginseng lying unconscious. The two wake up after taking a rest and find the group near them. Jiang informs the group about Romeo's death. Kawa tells them to collect food first, and they will decide on a further plan. Suddenly, they got attacked by the cannibals, who had surrounded them from all sides. The professor begins talking to the leaders of the cannibals, as he knows their language. Everyone is surprised to learn that their leader knows human language. On the other hand, the father reading a Bible over the grave of Professor Zika. Everyone is listening to him, including Professor. As he finishes the reading, everyone puts a flower on his grave and leaves. Meanwhile, the cannibal leader discusses with the professor where he talks about the miracle doctor, but humans are not sure of it. He tells them that he was one-eye man who came here to help them but disappeared one day. Everyone believed he was Professor's mentor. The leader tells them that their master is sick. They want someone to treat him. He wants to take them to him. They have begun escorting the group somewhere. Everyone looks worried as they are not sure of their future. While walking, Kawa asks the professor if the miracle doctor they are talking about is Professor Ziko, who died 10 years ago. However, the professor is not sure about it. Professor reveals that his mentor Professor Ziko obtained 2 degrees, one in archaeology and another in medicine. In the post-war era, there were very few people with the 2 degrees. Ning Yuan is feeling better after taking the antidote and rested. Jian calls him near and informs him about his thoughts. Jian believes they are taking them to their lair. He had gone through the map once again and found the location of their villages. He believes they are on the right track because that is also the place of their destination. He informs him that when the right times come they will escape together, and Ning Yuan agrees. Ding is also worried and asks the professor about his mentor Ziko. The professor is sure that his mentor has not left France before his death, so his presence here is impossible. He was by his side all the time. The group arrived in the village where they saw other cannibals working like normal humans. Kawa asked Sujin to go inside and see the situation of their master's disease. Sujin and the professor move towards the location. The leader gets angry after learning that the woman will treat their master. Professor reveals that he has read about Ghislaine having male superiority. Women are forbidden to do anything. Professor tries to negotiate, but he gets furious. Suddenly, another cannibal arrives with a message that a sick old man wants to give a chance to a woman to cure him. They will kill the woman if she fails to treat him. The leader takes them to the master. Sujin comes out and informs other group members about the old man's disease. After giving them details, she informs them that treatment is necessary. He needs care and must be hydrated with quinine. Everyone gets worried as they do not have quinine. Sujin suggests finding it from cinchona. Cinchona grows in dark places and human rainforest environments. Hawa believes as they are in South America there must be quinine in the forest. The master has given 3 of them permission to go outside to find the required herb. Meanwhile, the remaining will stay there as hostages, and if the 3 fail to return before sunrise, other members will be executed. Sujin will find the herb and Trussie and Andre will go to provide her safety as it is dangerous. Andre borrows a knife from Jian and then 3 leaves. It was raining heavily. Deng and Jian were worried for Sujin and prayed for her safety. Meanwhile, the professor and Kawa explore the area and learn that Gulin prays to Naga as their god. Whenever there is a spread of malaria they get worried for death. That is why it is called the curse of God. 10 years ago, many Gulans were captured and the remaining vanished in the mountains. Their 1-year Gulade who came out of the Fire Mountain and could speak the Gulan language. He helped the civilization by learning language and other things. Suddenly, one-eye Gulan disappears. Meanwhile, in the forest, Sujin describes the appearance of the plant they are looking for so they can easily find it. Andre has some grudge against the Trussie, but he has not shown it yet. While walking, Sujin finds the cinchona plant. On the other hand, the professor realizes that his mentor might not die and run smoothly from the country without getting caught. He recalls how one day his mentor reactivated the project about Gulen sponsored by a private organization. He signed many agreements with them. He recalls the body of his mentor was never burned or buried, which means he is still alive and his death was fake. He tells Kawa about his last meetup with his mentor before his death at his home. He went there and found the mentor's favorite dog dead, but the mentor did not take any action. He showed him some antidotes made by him for humans' long lives. It will control the life and death of humans, which surprises Professor. He injects the dog, which makes it alive again. He also antidote to stop aging. At present, after listening to the whole story, Ning Yuan wants everyone. After treating Gulen's master, they search for the answer for which Professor Zika came here. They will find the answer near Fire Mountain. After escaping, they should go there. The 3 have found the herbs but suddenly get attacked by the red-eyed monkeys. But they return with herbs successfully and treat their master. The Gulens are thankful for the healing. The leader then told Sujin about the attacker monkeys left by white people who once attacked the civilization. He warns her to not get attacked by them, otherwise they will become one. She also asks for the way back to there. homeland. He explains her in detail, but that will be dangerous. Ding believes that zombies like monkeys were created through experiments. In the next scene, the red car stops under the building, and a man with red hair enters the building and greets a man named Luo sitting on the sofa. He then informs him that his boss sent him a message. His boss misjudged him. He talks about the Gulen's altar. He offers him a ring sent by his boss for Luo. Luo gives it to her girlfriend Lily, whom she likes. Lily takes the ring and leaves. The two discuss the group captured on the island. Luo asks about his presence with them, but he does not reply. He says that when Ning Yuan is with them, he will not get wiped out. The Luo then reveals his half-face, which is burned and has blood on it. That part of the face was covered with hair. He is betting on the situation when Ning Yuan is on the team. The man with red hair is about to leave when he sees Professor Zico. He greets him. He finds that Zico is looking younger than before. Mr. Zico then talks to Luo and tells him he is putting too much trust in Ning Yuan's abilities. He reveals to him that Ning Yuan is suffering from amnesia, which surprises Luo as he does not know about it. Mr. Zico thinks Luo loves Ning Yuan, but he tells him he wants to see Ning Yuan die. Meanwhile, on the island, Su Jin teaches one of Gulen how to take the herb through smoke without taking the toxin inside. Jian was fishing but got angry as he captured tiny fish. Jian then takes the pipes from him and smokes. He feels dizzy and gets drunk. In his dream, he sees himself sitting and smoking, and two girls are sleeping on his shoulder. Su Jin gets worried to see him like this, but one of the Gulens tells her not to worry. He will wake up at nights. He thinks white people are too weak for anything. Ning Yuan was watching them from afar. Ning Yuan asks him about the white people and their mission. Gillian explains how they attacked their tribe and caught many Gilli. Those tribesmen never returned. He found a one-eyed man, a good person, who saved them twice. They were talking when Trussie got out of the water. She was taking a bath. Everyone is surprised to see her in short clothes. They begin staring at her, which offends her. She taunts them by asking if they haven't seen a beautiful girl before. Gulen tells Ning Yuan that white ladies are ugly, but their ladies are beautiful. Gulen has organized a dinner for humans. They have roasted meat and prepared wine. Everyone gets surprised when they drink their first sip of wine. Everyone finds it very tasty. They appreciate them for making tasty wine. Kawa then informs Gulen that they will leave the next day and explore the volcano. He requests him to provide them with a guide, as they do not know the area. He does not want to get into any trouble again. It is also too dangerous out there. Gulen's leader, Eden, agrees with them. Andre saw Gulen's archery match. Andre is surprised to see a crossbow. He takes it and prepares for the match with the other Gulen, Mugo. He asks for Andre's hat if he wins. Everyone gathers to watch their match. Andre takes off his hat and gives it to his opponent before playing his turn. Everyone gets shocked by Andre's long hair, which he always hides behind a hat. Mugo gets happy after receiving the hat. Andre asks for the crossbow after doing his turn, and Mugo gives it to him. Andre then takes out another hat from the bag and wears it. Everyone gets shocked to see that Andre had another hat in his bag. They wonder why he wear hat all the time. Jian wakes up with a headache and tries to recall why he is sleeping. He gets out and sees others enjoying themselves and drinking. He was going down when he saw a ghost monkey. They suddenly attack him, but Andre and Mugo attack back with a crossbow and kill them. One of the Gulens, named Shintra, gets hurt by the attack of a ghost monkey. The tribe believes he will now turn into a ghost monkey. Shintra cries with pain. Humans are surprised by this situation. Mugo carries him to dismember and bury him. Jian gets a little upset, which Kawa notices. Meanwhile, Mugo was about to kill Shintra when he turned into a monkey ghost and attacked Mugo. He runs away. Mugo was also injured by the Shintra's attack. He lies to others and says that he fell and got scratched by a rock. Everyone starts looking for Shintra. Sujin, meanwhile, treats Mugo's wound. She tells him it is a scratch from the knife, and Eden wonders about the truth behind the injury. Everyone is worried about the virus that ghost monkeys are spreading. Kawa tells his team members that their original plan is to leave the area as soon as possible and head to the volcano. He has also collected plenty of food. The food will be enough for 1 week. He wants them to leave early in the morning. Andre suggests borrowing some weapons from Gulen to fight ghost monkeys on the way. Eden had one hand, as his other hand was attacked by a ghost monkey 10 years ago. Ning Yuan asks about the attack, and Eden tells him that he is the only Gulen who survived the attack. Eden talks about his son Jackson, whose body turned into a rotten wild beast in front of him. He was stronger than Mabin. He was about to be selected as the next chief of their tribe. He turned into a ghost, and they killed him. Eden gets emotional while talking about his son. Jian was worried for some reason and couldn't fall asleep. He talks to Ning Yuan and tells him that one day he will have to kill him. He talks about money and diamonds, which Ning Yuan doesn't get. He tells him to take a rest, as they will leave early in the morning. The next morning, the group arrives in front of Eden to say goodbye, but he wants them to stay for one more day, as it is a ceremony for the new chief, who is Mabu. The old chief is sick, so they selected a new one. During the enthronement process, the old chief has to offer a bowl of water. New chief, drink it. Sujin gets worried as the old chief is already sick. Magu drinks the blood, but Eden reveals he had mixed the organs of Sintra's body in the bowl. Magu gets angry and orders him to kill everyone on the hill, including humans. The group makes a run. The old chief moves towards the Mugo and sees his body turn into a ghost. His eyes are red, and he attacks the chief. The group runs towards the woods to save themselves from Guilin's attack. Unfortunately, they all get separated from each other. Professor and Ding sit down to take a rest and worry for others' safety. The professor suggests moving towards the northeast, as the volcano is there. Moving towards the volcano will give them a chance to meet the group. The two were about to leave when Ning appeared. He was also worried for others. The three were discussing the situation when they heard footsteps. They get afraid and hide behind the bushes. It was Su Jin running alone. The professor believes someone is chasing her. Suddenly, she falls to the ground, and two Guilins appear behind her. They were chasing her. The two decide to leave the girl, as she saves their chief from death. They show her the way towards the volcano. The three are still hiding because it's dangerous for them to show up in front of Guilin. At night, the three get out, and Ning shows them the map. They try to figure out the route. They chose the way through the shore because Guilin uses the woods, so it will be safe for them. They take a rest under the mountain. Ding reads a poem, but Ning reveals he is bad at literature. Suddenly, Ning Yuan recalls his past. He recalls that Erpang was crying for him. Suddenly, someone binds his hand and throws him in the water. Later, he wakes up on the boat. In the present, he cries, and Ding and Professor ask him about Erpang. He does not remember who Erpang was. Suddenly, the three release the water of the sea, which is getting closer to them. They then notice a crocodile near them. Ning Yuan suggests waiting for the tide to get lower, as they cannot go anywhere else. They ignore the crocodile and quietly sit down. Later, Ding tells them to quietly leave the place, but the other two suggest waiting for sunrise. Ding was a coward, so he made a run. He dives into the water and crosses it. He enters the wood and looks for the rope he saw before. He recalls how the group saved him before. He finds the rope when Jian appears and asks for Ning and Sujin. Ding tells him about the professor and Ning's danger. He came here for rope so he could save them. Suddenly, they saw themselves surrounded by the ghost monkeys. The two get afraid. Jiang plans to send Ding to the shore and will keep the monkeys busy fighting him. Ding runs to the shore, and by tying the rope with two trees, Professor first crosses the sea, where crocodiles are waiting. At Ning's turn, the rope gets lost. Ding Yuan walks on the rope and passes it, surprising the other two. When he gets near the shore, a crocodile attacks him. However, Jian arrives on time and kills it, saving Ning Yuan. But it is revealed that Jian has been attacked by a ghost monkey. Jian's eyes have turned red like a ghost monkey. The professor wants Jian to not follow. However, Ning Yuan suggests there is a serum created by Professor Zika at the volcano. If they reach there and get the serum, they can treat Jian. The professor wants him to maintain distance on their way, and Jian agrees. Ning Yuan does not want it, but Jian convinces him. Trussi and Andre were together. There was silence between them. Suddenly, Trussi's stomach starts making noise as it gets empty. Andre passes her the food. She was about to eat when she heard Sujin scream, and TWL ran towards the area. Sujin arrives near the volcano and is about to move further when someone grabs her behind. She screams and returns to find Jingsang and Kawa. They were too hungry and ate her food. Deng and the group also hear the screams and increase their speed. Trussi and Andre arrive near them when suddenly a ghost monkey appears. Meanwhile, Ning and the group are moving in a circle. Due to clouds, it has become difficult to find the route. Professor Mark marks the tree and moves forward when they suddenly fall into the swamp. The professor tells them to swim through the swamp. They were following the professor when suddenly Ding started getting down in the swamp. He cries, asking Ning for help. Ding recalls when Erpang was calling for help, but he failed. He promises Ding that he will save him. The professor arrives on the land, and Ning asks him to make rope with tree branches. Jian has also arrived but falls into a swamp. Ning moves towards the land to help the professor make rope. Jian finds that Ning Yuan is acting differently from before. The professor also notices the same. He recalls how Ning Yuan has given them orders with calmness, without any fear or hesitation. The professor calls him perfect for their leader. Ning and the professor successfully save Jiang and Ding. Meanwhile, Trussie fights the monkey with her gun and saves others who are hiding behind trees. They are thankful to her. She reveals she left with only 3 bullets. Andre suggests going forward, leaving the food behind, as it is risky going back. Su-jin reveals the volcano is deserted. There will be no food or herbs. She suggested collecting some food. Kawa suggests dividing the teams to collect food. He assigns duties to everyone. Su-jin will collect herbs, and Andre will take care of security. Jing-sang and Trussie will collect food. The group leaves, and Su-jin prays for Ning Yuan's safety. Ding finds swamps everywhere and plans to climb the cliff near them. Ding and the professor are sitting far away as they are afraid of Jiang, who is infected with a virus. The professor suggests going separate ways, but Ning Yuan decides to stick with him in any case. He recalls the first question he asked Su-jin about saving a stranger in a short-term meetup. He recalls the promises they made together. Ding considers him like a brother. He decides not to leave him. Professor and Ding decided to follow Ning Yuan as, alone, it is difficult to go further. Mr. Kola asked Su-jin how she passed the swamp. She recalls when she stepped into the swamp. Suddenly, a Gulen arrives, who helped her earlier. They throw stones, telling her about the safer side of the earth. Andre laughs after learning how they helped her. He finds them funny. Su-jin then asks Andre and Taisi about their experience passing it. Andre reveals he is a soldier, so it was easy for them to pass it. He faced such difficulties in combat. Kawa also revealed that he is a sports lover. He uses wood boards and tree vines to make a skyboard and then passes through it. They were talking and placing all the foods and herbs they had collected when Jin-sang revealed that Andre liked Trussie. Trussie does not believe it. He reveals that he has seen Andre taking care of her and trying to protect her when a monkey attacked her. She gets worried to learn that Andre is always following her. She recalls the operation she took part in years ago. She reveals she joined an Interpol operation targeting a multinational drug cartel. The trading location was in the harbor. She was ambushed near the trading location with her colleagues when they heard violent crossfire. They saw a boat moving, and they started attacking. She killed one man who was a professional Russian mercenary, Eric Ivanov. Kawa reveals Andre's last name also contains the surname Ivanov. She reveals that Eric had 4 brothers. She thinks he might be Eric's brother but is not sure. Kawa wants her to stay active, as he is very skilled. Meanwhile, the other group has also climbed the cliff and is moving toward the volcano. Ning Yuan is continuously thinking about Su-jin. He gets worried after hearing her scream earlier. He prays for her safety. Suddenly, they saw the food bag that was left by Andre and Trussie. Ding believes there must be danger ahead. Ning tells them about gunshots he heard in the swamp. He now points at the volcano and tells them the location they should follow. He wants to reach the volcano as soon as possible for antidotes. He is worried for Jiang and wants him to get treated as early as possible. Su-jin and the group have arrived near the volcano, but they find it too hot. It became difficult for them to move further. Andre tells them that the more they climb the mountain, the hotter it will get. Su-jin suggests they should rest for a little and drink water. Suddenly, they find that Kawa is missing. They start screaming his name. Andre decides to look for him separately and yell if something happens. Suddenly, they hear Jing-sang's voice, and when he arrives, he has also disappeared. Trussie suspects Andre, and he gets angry at her. Suddenly, they hear Su-jin scream and run to save her. They see her going down in the sand. They get inside the quicksand. They arrive on the land and see the water moving there. They found Jing-sang and fainted Kawa. Meanwhile, the other group has also arrived near the mountain. Jiang feels dizzy. Everything starts getting blurry and losing focus. Ning Yuan notices him. He encourages him to go further and take a shower with hot water near them. He believes it will help. After arriving near the lake, the professor learns the reason why his mentor chose this area. The geothermal resources are rich here. Suddenly, the professor begins feeling cold while taking a shower in hot water, which surprises others who are feeling hot. Suddenly, the professor falls sick. His body starts sweating. Ning Yuan believes the symptoms are acute malaria. He remembers Su-jin had the herbs for treating. They decide to reach out to the other group as soon as possible. They arrive near the cave, from where water is coming down. The professor cannot go further, and Jiang decides to stay with him. Jiang suggests he go and find medicine for the 2. Ning Yuan leaves the 2 with food and leaves with Thing to reach the other group and find medicine for them. Meanwhile, Su-jin checks on Kawa, who is unconscious. She needs herbs to treat it. They are also low on food, as Kawa accidentally lost the food box in the water. Andre decides to go with Trussi to find food while Sujin and Jingsang stay behind. Jingsang recalls Kawa's earlier discussion about not leaving Trussi alone with Andre. Jingsang insists on going with them, and Andre wonders why he is insisting. Trussi decides to go with Andre and asks Jingsang not to worry about her. Ding and Ningyuan found the apple floating in the water. He believes that the other group is facing a food crisis. Trussi and Andre find a man-made tunnel inside the cave. They find another crosswalk inside the tunnel. They are sure that the research facility is there. The two go separate ways. Trussi finds the electric breaker and turns it on. She has now entered the facility. She sees an underground power station. Suddenly, the door gets closed. Someone was sitting inside the construction vehicle. He attacks Trussi with the vehicle but fails as she hides. Ningyuan Ding hears the voice and follows it. They see Andre running towards the gunshots. Meanwhile, Trussi fights the mysterious man inside the powerhouse. She fires at him, but suddenly Andre appears from the door, missing the bullet. Andre gets angry at her for firing at him. The two start fighting with a gun and crossbow. Ningyuan and Ding were watching them. Ningyuan runs and sits in the vehicle. He gives them a lecture about not fighting and reveals the professor's and Jiyong's condition. He tries to calm the two down but fails. The two are angry at each other and want to take revenge. Andre reveals that Trussi is not a police officer, but an international criminal. The two again start firing at each other. Trussi reveals that Andre tried to kill him earlier in this room. But Ningyuan clarifies that Andre was with them when they heard a gunshot. The four then realize that there is someone else in the facility. However, Trussi and Andre still want to kill each other first. Ningyuan then threatens them that he will waste the food in his hand if they do not stop fighting. The two then realize the importance of food and stop fighting. Sujin is waiting for Kawa to wake up. Jingsang is starving to death. Sujin gives her the last apple to eat, as she feels he is low on sugar. He takes the apple but decides to eat half and leave the other for Kawa. She tells him he is a nice guy. He says his grandfather was a Buddhist who told him to be nice to others. The two were talking when Ningyuan and others arrived. Ningyuan and Sujin were happy to see each other. Ning gives them food. She places some food in Kawa's mouth. Ning then tells her about Jion and the professor's condition. He wants her to treat them first. She asks for the symptoms. He reveals acute malaria and Jion being infected with the monkey virus. Everyone gets scared after learning about the monkey virus. He asks Quinine if he should go alone to treat the professor, but Sujin decides to go with him. Ningyuan decides to take Andre with them, so they carry the patient. Ningyuan, Sujin, and Andre have arrived at the entrance of the cave where they left Jion and Professor. The three were shocked to see the two patients missing. Andre wants them to go separately and look for them. They begin searching for them. They get tired but have not found it. Ding finds Jiang's knife on the wall. Andre tries to figure out the situation. Ding decides to go back to the team, and together they should go to the facility. He believes Jiang and the professor have been taken to the facility. Meanwhile, Officer Trussi was looking at her gun while thinking about Andre. Ding tries to talk to her, but she is scared of her gun. Ningyuan returns and informs others that the two patients are missing. However, there was no sign of struggle. Suddenly, Kawa also wakes up. He asks for the place. Sujin tells him that this is the cave under the volcano. He was dehydrated before. She checks his pulse. They decide to go to the lab. Kawa tells Sujin he will repay her for treating him. She says she does not need anything. She is trying to be a good teammate. She thanks him for his leadership. Kawa, after hearing the word leadership, looks at Ningyuan. He believes Ningyuan is acting differently from before. He recalls how he started a business as a software engineer 10 years ago, earning billions of dollars in assets. Computers and technology are his pride after 41 years of living. But he believes those things are useless here. They arrive at the geothermal power plant. Kawa believes this is not just created with wealth. Such investment without government interference is impossible. Everyone gets shocked to see the powerhouse. Ning asks Kawa about the workings of construction vehicles. Ning tells them that this is an island, and the only way to bring such a vehicle is through the harbor for sea transportation. He says there must be a radio or satellite for communication. They have to now find the harbor. But it is difficult to find it easily as it is dangerous out there. They first decide to explore the lab so they can find and nab it. They find a researcher's dead body in another room. The door was locked and Ningyuan used the researcher card to open it. Inside the room, they saw supercomputers. They find it as a data center. They can now get the information from using it. Kawa attempts to turn on the computer and finds it working. He finds out that they can only use it for their specific purpose and cannot use it for data. They also find supercomputers and get excited. However, the password issue arises in the supercomputer. Kawa uses his abilities and unlocked the password, surprising everyone. He then sends the teams by order from Super Trussie along with Sujin and Ding to the research area. They arrive at biochemical research. The three find the immortal monkeys in the container. Ding gets afraid, so he goes outside to wait for Trussie and Sujin, who are looking for an antidote. Ding, Jinxing, and Andre go to the other side by following the order from Kawa. They open the lockers in the changing rooms and find the space suits. Ning finds Louis White from a US military card. They get worried when they find that the government is supporting such a research facility that is working on immortality. Suddenly Jinxing feels dizzy and tells the other two about his psychological disorder. He recalls his past when he was playing basketball and had to make the final goal but lost control. He always loses control in critical conditions, and currently, she is facing the same disorder. He then goes to another area on Kawa's orders, which is tagged as a restaurant. The Trussie team has found the antidote and returned to the main area. Ning Yuan and their group find a huge group of dead researchers' skeletons in a restaurant sitting on their chairs. Ning believes everyone was enjoying their meal and suddenly they die. They find the door of another room. The room was fancy. They find another dead body in the fancy room, which surprises Andre. Trussie and the team find the drug cabinet broken. Sujin believes someone has already taken the drug. Ding becomes hopeless, but Sujin is still hopeful. She asks them to stop worrying and keep looking for the required antidote. Ding and Trussie find Sujin a very strong lady than she looks. Sujin goes inside and screams with fear. She sees a dead body, half human and half animal. Meanwhile, Andre confronts the man he believes is alive and smiles at him. Ning Yuan goes near to check on the body and finds him dead. He reveals the body is not as old as other dead bodies. Ning Yuan finds a card in the dead body's pocket. He was a research facility supervisor named Yasu Monro. They take the card to open the other locked doors. They find a notebook in his pocket, but its pages are missing. Suddenly they heard someone outside. Andre goes to find the man while Ning checks the book. Ning found something written on the last page of the notebook. Sujin gets disappointed after seeing such experiments on humans. Someone was looking at them from behind the pillar. Trussie tells Sujin that rules in this world are only for the powerful, and the poor get exploited. No one cares about the poor. Equality is when two are stronger. There is no equality between rich and poor. The figure behind the pillar takes the grenade and throws it at Trussie's team. Trussie runs to make Ding and Sujin lie down. Everyone hears the grenade explosion. Trussie and the other two were safe as they lay down on the ground on top. She hides Sujin and Ding under the stairs. She tells them there is someone who wants to kill them. Trussie believes it's Andre who attacked them, but the other two did not believe it. She then shows them a door and gives details on how they will make a run toward the door and how she will handle the bullets. Ding has the access card, so he decides to make the first run, which will be dangerous. He gathers courage and makes a run. The two ladies follow him. He was about to reach near the door when an arrow hit his neck, which was fired by a mysterious man. He does not stop and opens the door. He makes the way for ladies to pass the door. The two ladies pass the door, but Ding is still there. Another grenade is thrown at him, which explodes, surprising everyone. Sujin cries for him, but Trussie drags her with her as it is dangerous staying there. They run to hide themselves when they find another room locked. They go to find another room. The mysterious man is still following them. The two hide in the washroom when suddenly the toxic gas comes out of the pipe. They run to open the door, but it is now locked from outside. Two cannot bear the gas and fall unconscious. The mysterious figure then arrives in the room. Ding and Jinxing arrive at the control room to ask Kawa about the situation. Kawa reveals it was Andre doing all this. He says Andre was taking the unconscious ladies with him in a trolley. Kawa believes Andrew is working without getting captured on the monitor. Ning now decides they should properly plan everything before making an attack. They are unaware of the place, but the enemy is aware. Ning plans to first look at Andre and find his location. Ning gives the notebook to Kawa where some numbers are written. He believes it must be the password of a supercomputer. Kawa uses the number and it opens the computer areas where he had no access before. But suddenly they found a scanner coming out of the ground. They have to scan the hand for second-level authentication. The supervisor is the only press that can grant access by using his hand identification. Suddenly the note appears on the scanner, and if they do not scan the handprint, the self-destruction mode will turn off. Jinxing gets scared, but Ning finds the plan. He orders Jinxing to run to the canteen to take the supervisor's dead body. The normal person will cover the distance from the canteen to the control room in 10 minutes. However, Jinxang is an athlete and he will make it in 10 minutes. In critical situations, Jinxang faces the same physiological disorder and panics. After hearing lectures from Ming and Kala, he runs to take the supervisor's hand, but at the cafeteria, he fails to do so. He cries at first, but then at the last moment, he runs with the whole dead body. He sees Andre standing on the way and gets afraid. However, he does not stop and makes it on time. Like this video and subscribe to Any Summary for more anime recap.